Nancy Zhang is the co-founder of YouShouldDate.ppt, an organization that throws events where participants use PowerPoint presentations to pitch why attendees should date their friend. Earlier, I spoke with Nancy about the community around these events and if this is a response to the depersonalized experience around dating apps. So Nancy, explain to us a little bit about the events that you throw and how the idea originated.
So my roommate Jackie and I, we run these events where locals pitch their single friend with a PowerPoint, and these PowerPoints are in the format of a startup pitch deck. So much like how a startup is going to make a pitch deck to raise money, get investors, we have people make a pitch deck essentially about why someone in the audience should date their friend. And we started this because about a year ago, we're roommates and good friends from college, and we actually both work in startups in the Boston area, so we're pretty familiar with the idea of a pitch deck and making them. And so we were both single at the time and just sort of commiserating about dating apps and just not really looking forward to that at all. And so we just thought it would be a funny idea to talk about your friends in this way.
So what's really interesting is pitch decks, as you point out, are known to people who work in a particular industry. Before I became a reporter, I spent many years on Wall Street, and so pitch deck is familiar to me. But one of the things about a pitch deck is that the bullet points have to be pithy, and yet they have to convey a lot of information. And for people who aren't that familiar with pitch decks, I can imagine you get like paragraphs of details and characteristics and traits of a particular person. So how do you call that down?
Well, the good thing is after running this event a few times, we now have a few good example decks that did really well with the audience and convey the sort of style that we're looking for. So we're able to send these example decks to people interested in participating in our other events. Honestly, Boston was a great place to start with this event just because so many people here are involved with startups or with tech companies, so they are very familiar with pitch decks, so this was a good starting place for us.
So your company promotes the idea of pitching a friend to another friend, and you argue that there's no dating app algorithm that can take the place of that sort of human-to-human connection, albeit with a pitch deck. But I might argue you don't need the pitch deck. You can just sit down with a friend and go, hey, I've got this really incredible individual that I think you should meet, or that your friend should meet. What's wrong with that?
There is nothing wrong with that. And that's what people have been doing for ages, is just, hey, you should meet this friend or you should meet that friend. I think the humor of it now, and especially why our events have gained so much traction and so much resonance, is particularly because Silicon Valley and startup culture has gone mainstream. A majority of people, especially our age, they either want to work at a startup or they want to start their startup, or they're just generally curious about startup world. So this event also plays off of that interest now in our generation.
So let's dive into some of the issues and challenges that you saw or that you worried about when it came specifically to dating apps. What were you and your friends talking about? What sort of put you off from using those?
So what I experienced among me and my friends is that we all, when we're single, we all turn to dating apps and we all use them, but none of us really genuinely enjoy the experience of it. It's not something that you go home and you look forward to doing every night. You just sort of, it's there and you use them, not because you want to, but because you feel like you have to. And so that's sort of the problem that we experience. It's like there's no other convenient way to do this.
Yeah, and those apps in some instances have been criticized for promoting hookup culture. How do you push back against that with your events?
That's an interesting question. Well, you do get more exposure to the person that is being pitched. Their friend has 3 minutes to pitch them, and especially from a friend's perspective, you sort of get a good sense of who this person is. And as a participant in our event, you're not necessarily focused on getting your friend, a hot new hookup. You're really focused on, you want someone to date your friend.
So I know you haven't been doing this all that long, but like, what is the track record of the pitches and the coming together of those two individuals? Are a lot of people still together? Like, what percentage would you assign to it?
We've been planning these for just a little over a year now, and we've done 4 events with 2 more to come by the end of this year. And so unfortunately we haven't heard of any successful long-term relationships coming from our events, but we do hear about I know. I think maybe we'll just give it some more time. But we do hear about a lot of dates that happen. So people do ask each other out on dates from this, and they go on as many as, like, I think 5 or 6 dates together. So that's really exciting. And the funny thing is, it's it's meant to be that someone presents their single friend to the crowd, thinking that someone in the audience, is going to approach their friend and maybe date them or go on a few dates. But we've had all sorts of, interactions. So, for example, we had someone who was presenting a friend. Actually, they went on a few dates with someone else who was being presented. So among our lineup, there's, people asking each other out. We've had situations where someone who is being pitched, someone in the audience sees that pitch and is like, oh, my friend who's not at this event would love this person. So that friend in the audience acts as the intermediary and is like, hey, you should meet this person. I saw them get pitched at this event. And we've also heard of people sort of becoming like infamous on dating apps where someone who participated and was being pitched at our event told me, I'll like match with people on Tinder and they're like, oh, were you pitched at this event?
That's hilarious. That's
like,
really
I recognize you from this event.
That's really, really funny.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we let you go, how do people find where these events are being held?
So most people hear about us through word of mouth. We put all our events on Facebook, and so once people click attending on our Facebook event, it shows up on their friends' timelines, and it's sort of this ludicrous, like, what is this event? And so they click on it too, and they find out. So yeah, all our events are on Facebook and also on our website at youshoulddateppt.com.
All right. Awesome. Nancy, thank you so much. Really fascinating.
Thank you.